welcome back. Don't have anything new. Still kind of sick. So, again, if you see me messing with my ear, just trying to find a good medium, because it's either feel like it's poking out this way or it's poking in too far. So, yeah, we're just trying to work with it. It's not as bad as it has been, though, I feel like. I just realized I didn't take my pills. Whatever. But we're just going to go ahead and roll right into it, I think. I'm trying to think of, a good way to do this, because I'm trying to, maybe I need to bring y'all down again. You can just barely see Jessie above me now. But there she is, just hanging. And for the record, this thing that she's in was my flower crown for our wedding. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm just trying to put, stuff back there that's not just, my purse and my stuff. So, but yeah. Our little co-host is sleeping again. Oh, God, you guys just went flying. But he's sleeping again. Dusty. He was just whining and causing a ruckus, so that's just how quickly he will pass out. And I did not mean for that to go flying. But our little co-host is once again asleep. I don't know if he will make any noise. Yesterday he did really, really good, so we're gonna see where that goes. But yeah, I did not mean to send you guys flying. My bad. But yeah, we're just gonna go ahead and roll right into it and get started with our intro. Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Phoenix Reads. Today's episode is a series of Whatever Wednesdays. That's right guys, it is Wednesday. As usual, I don't read any of the stories I'm about to read with you. I will leave any usernames in the description if you want to go leave your own opinion on their post, given it is still up. My username for Reddit is in the description. Feel free to tag me in stories you'd like to hear me read. Let's get started. And then as usual, we add on music. I really feel like I need to go through the music options that I have on Anchor and find one that's just for the intros. And then I think I need to start doing one having a different music for the outro. That would be kind of nice. I don't know why I'm trying to do all capitals. I don't remember what episode this was, and I just put it up there too. That's okay. Whatever. Who needs numbers? Me, I need numbers. And we're just gonna go ahead and roll right into it. Hey everybody, happy Wednesday, happy whatever day you are listening to this. I hope whatever day it is that you are listening to this on, you are having a good day regardless. We're just going to go ahead, roll right into it. It is Whatever Wednesday, so we're just going to go straight to our catch-all bag, and we'll switch between that and Petty Revenge. If you hear any whimpering, again, my little co-host right now is asleep, but that does not mean that he will not wake up and make a big old stink. I did take him out right before all of this, so he should be good up until we are done today, but he was just a whining and carrying on, trying to get into the chair with me before this all started. But he is within arm's reach now, and he is fine, so hopefully he stays that way. But we will go ahead and just start up. So this comes from the Best of Redditor Updates, and the original title is I, 27M, met a girl, 27F, who used to bully me when we were little. Now she is asking me out, and I don't know what to do. This does have some updates in it. Trigger warnings for those who need it. It does mention bullying. So if that is something that bothers you, please feel free to skip this one if you need to. but this was originally posted in relationship advice. So we're going to go ahead and get started. I, 27M, was heavily bullied since the beginning of kindergarten until the end of middle school when I transferred into a different town. My classroom had 15 children, me excluded. Out of these 15, 7 of them used to bully me constantly, and the other 8 simply ignored what was happening. Out of the 7 bullies, 4 did some particularly heavy shit. I will call them the B team. You can guess what B stands for. While the other 3 did some random lighter things, throwing paper scraps at me, stealing pencils, and things like that. I will call them the C team, or acted as followers for the B team. What the B team did to me scarred me for life, and I had to go to therapy to deal with it. If I met them today, I would make them pay for everything they did to me. My hatred for the C team is not nearly as big, but it's still vivid. Until last year, I couldn't bring myself to forgive anybody in that classroom, both teachers and students, for doing nothing to help me when the B team was tormenting me. Last year, though, my hatred started to fade following some serious events in my life. Sorry, I won't share what events. Oh, also, I completely forgot to mention, the original was posted February 25th of 2023, so it is like a recent, this year type of thing. When I transferred, I swore to myself I would never go back to that town or talk to any of them ever again. Despite that, my past has found a way to follow me. I work in a pub, not sure if this is the right term in English, part-time, twice a week, around 6 months ago. And around 6 months ago, I met Nina, 27F, there by chance. Nina was one of the 3 bullies of the C team, and while I have forgiven them now, it doesn't mean I want to have anything to do with her, so I tried to stay professional and act as if nothing was wrong. Anyway, physically, she hasn't changed much. I mean, she has grown up since middle school, obviously, but I could still recognize her. I'm not sure if I made myself clear. The same cannot be said for me, probably. In middle school, I was fat, white like snow, and I had light brown hair, while now I'm fit, my skin is a bit more pink, and my hair has darkened in the last few years. When some of my friends look at my old photos, they struggle to recognize me. See, I'm like the complete opposite. I'm still practically like, people can still recognize me. Like, there will be people, like, I'm terrible with faces. I will be the first one to tell you that I am literally the epitome of an example of why Clark Kent's alter ego and disguise works. I am that way. So I will have people come up to me and they recognize me and they're like, yeah, we went to school together. And I'll be like, I have no idea who the fuck you are. So we didn't talk for much as I was working, and she initially didn't recognize me. But when one of my colleagues called me to ask me something, she connected the dots. I have a particular name that is rare in our country as it's a really old-fashioned and nobody uses it anymore. Imagine, I don't know, being called Aristotle today. That's just an example. Once she recognized me, her demeanor changed drastically and she got out pretty soon. She came back a couple of times in the following months and she was quite shy towards me whenever we interacted. A few weeks ago, she got mildly drunk and she started sobbing and ranting about what a crappy person she was in the past and how her life is shit. It was the classic drunken rambling and I didn't pay much attention. I simply stopped serving her alcohol and gave her some water, but at some point she grabbed my hand while I was taking away one of the empty glasses and she apologized. I have to say, it felt weirdly good. She didn't come back in the following weeks, but a few days ago she texted me on social media, apologizing profusely for whatever she did while drunk, and then she suddenly asked me out. At the time, I was evidently too stupid or tired to understand the clues and didn't understand it was meant as a date. She asked me out for a coffee, and I thought she simply wanted to apologize in person or talk about the past in a more sober state. I realized my mistake yesterday when I talked about it with a friend. Now I'm torn on what I should do. On one side, what Nina did in the past has conditioned me greatly, and I can't simply forget about it. On the other, she really looks apologetic, and she seems to have changed. It's been 15 years, and maybe I should give her a chance. TLDR. I met one of my old bullies by chance. She seems apologetic, and she asked me out. What should I do? And then this is the update that we got at the beginning of March. I, 27M, wasn't sure about doing an update post, but quite a few of you gave me some good advice. And some didn't, but I wanted to focus on the good ones. So I thought it would be fair to update you on how the situation evolved. After reading your advices, I decided to meet Nina, 27F, for that coffee. It was awkward, but it wasn't that bad. She apologized profusely about the past. I thought her apologies would make me feel good, but to be honest, I was wrong. The truth is that I still think badly of the Nina who bullied me in middle school, but I couldn't see that Nina in the current Nina. I don't know if what I'm trying to say makes sense or if my brain finally decided to give up on me. Her voice, her demeanor, everything except her face is completely different. I told her exactly how what she and the other bullies did affected me, and then I decided to forgive her, more or less. I decided to start over as strangers and told her as such. I told her that while I couldn't forget what she did in the past, I don't know the current Nina. It's been 14 years since those times. More than half of our lives passed since then, and I firmly believe people can change. I did. So, if she wanted to try and get to know the current me, we could act as if that was the first time we met and move on from there. I don't know if this decision shows my maturity or my stupidity. I guess the future will tell. I admit what she did next made me giggle a bit. I think she took it from a film, but I don't remember which one. She stood up and got out of the coffee shop, then came back in, sat down, and introduced herself. We chatted for a bit, and it was okay. I want to thank, it says I what, but I think it means I want. I want to thank all the people who gave me advices in the comment section of the previous post. TLDR, I decided to forgive her, and we decided to start over as strangers and see what happens. New updates. So, I never thought I would post again on this account since it was a throwaway one, but it surprised me how many people showed interest in how things are going and DM me, so I think I will keep this account if something happens. So, what could I share in this update? Since my previous update, we went out twice. Before someone asks again, they weren't date. The first time was around a week ago when we went to the library. It wasn't a date. I'm currently writing a book and needed some reference material. While I was on my way there, she texted me and asked if I was free. I explained what I was doing and she decided to join me. We read some books for a couple of hours, took a coffee, and parted. The second time was last Saturday. I went out with a couple of friends and I invited her to come with us. I suppose I should introduce my friends to give a full picture of the situation. Mike, 27M, is my best friend since high school. He currently lives in another town due to work, but he comes to hang out with our friends during the weekend. The second is Maury, 27M. I want to say that he is the brave one in the group, but I think reckless would be a little bit more fitting. Last but not least, there is Lucia, 25F. She is Maury's sister, and despite being the youngest, she is a bit like a mom for our group of friends. She is the responsible young one and the one who tries and bring a bit of sanity to the group. My friends know about the past, and I talked about my bullies to them. They weren't exactly thrilled to meet Nina, but all in all, it went okay. We went bowling and then eat lunch together. Nothing meaningful happened. This post was mostly to communicate my intention of possibly keeping this account active. Bye. And we have another update, and this one comes on April 11th, so about a month later, I think. Oh, so the second update came from on March 14th, so then about a month later. Should probably change the title at some point if I continue to post, because he just still uses that same beginning title. So, how should I start narrating what happened in the past month? There were quite a lot of events. Me and Nina hanged out together 3 more times in the 2 weeks following my previous post. One time was with 4 of my friends. We all went to the bowling alley. I would love to say I'm good at it, but no, I suck at bowling. Same, but I love to bowl. I placed second to last, but I had fun. Anyway, Nina is quite good at it. She got second place. After that, Maury insisted we all went out for dinner, so we ended up eating at a nearby restaurant. I learned some good things about Nina that day, especially the fact that she loves Doctor Who, including the original series that came out in 1963. I love Doctor Who. I can't wait for it to come to Disney Plus, because I'm just like, ugh! The original series of Doctor Who never aired in my country, so it's rare, even among fans, to find someone who actually watched it. So it was quite the surprise, and it was good to finally be able to talk about it with someone who understood what I was talking about. Her favorite doctor is John Petrie, while mine is Peter Capaldi, but Tom Baker has a special place in both of our hearts. Mine is... my favorite doctor is 10. David Tennant is my favorite doctor. But Matt Smith is also a really good one, and 9 is just unforgettable because 9 was my first doctor, so... But I digress. The second time we hanged out was when she invited me to a place with 3 of her friends, Valentina, Mary, and her boyfriend, Danny. I think it means Mary's boyfriend, not Nina's boyfriend. Nothing particular happened. We all went to drink something and chatted a bit. They all seemed like good people. Mary and Danny are lovebirds, while Valentina is probably the most talkative person I have ever met. The third time we were alone, it was a Saturday. Oh, the third time we were alone. It was a Saturday, and I just wanted to chill out at home, watch a couple of movies, write a bit, and try some new recipes. I like cooking, and trying new recipes is a hobby of mine. I wanted to have a second opinion on what I was cooking, and I knew most of my friends were busy, so I invited Nina as my taste tester. I tried 2 recipes, and while the first was pretty good, I completely butchered the second one. I think I desecrated the chicken I used for that one, and his soul will come back to haunt me someday. We laughed about my failed attempt and ate the good one. We were in a good mood, so we decided to watch some Netflix. It was a fun afternoon, and at the end of it, we actually talked a bit about us. She told me she still wants to date me and that she had fun hanging out in the past few months, so if I wanted to, we could try going out together. To be completely sincere, at the time, I was still questioning if it was a good idea or not. But I was having fun with Nina, and I didn't perceive any type of malice in her words. So I accepted. I told her that we could go out together on an actual date. She was enthusiastic, surprised, and I think a bit nervous as she started stuttering a bit. I escorted her back to her car and came back home. The next thing she did actually made me giggle a bit. It had not even been 10 minutes since I went back inside, and she suddenly rang my door, and when I opened it, she said, "Hi, it's been a while. I'm here for our first date." She was giggling and smiling, and I admit a piece of me fell for her in that moment. Yeah, I'm a softie. To be fair, I would probably feel like the exact same way, because that's like stupid cute. We did something simple, took a walk around town, grabbed a bite, and called it a night. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous about that. Like, I keep waiting for like a bomb to drop, you know? Like, I keep waiting for like something bad to happen, so I'm like, is it like just like some like big like shitty thing? She's still a shitty person? Oh, this is the end of it. So yeah, we are dating currently. If I remember correctly, someone in the comment section of my first update actually predicted this. I should probably go back and tell him he was right. In the past 2 weeks, we have had 3 more dates and everything seems good. She went back to our hometown for Easter, but we will have a movie night the day after tomorrow. Well, this is pretty much all that happened in the past month. I think it's plenty enough for one update, but there is one major thing I have yet to reveal to all of you. Nina actually found out about this series of posts. I don't know how she did, but she recognized a couple of clues. Background, the comment about my name I made in the original post, etc., etc. She asked me about it, and strangely enough, she is actually enthusiastic about it. So that's it. I don't know how to conclude this post, so it's probably, since it's already probably too long, I will simply wish you all a good day, long life, and prosperity. Bye. That was, like, really cute. I really enjoyed that one. We don't get a whole lot of, like, cute little, like, wholesome ones. And I just don't know. I think that was a really cute little wholesome one to just start off a whatever Wednesday. And it's something a little bit different. Usually we always get something that's like a shocker and it's like, oh man, that's really sad. So like to have something that's like cute is kind of nice. So this next one, it says it's concluded. It also comes from the Best of Redditor updates. And it's called Mrs. Johnson. Trigger warnings, there are none, so this one should be good. In this text, Mrs. Johnson is only mentioned in one paragraph. I am copying the whole post to give you the complete picture. So, this has everything. And this says, "Be prepared, a rant, March 11th, 2023. Due to my hotel losing 60% of its occupancy with our dearly departed extended stay guests, we are now the most vacant we have been in over half a year. Unfortunately, we are in sports team season, otherwise known as get your fucking kids season or where your mama season. As somebody who used to work at a hotel, I feel this within my fucking soul. Sports season sucks ass. Also, it's wedding season, a time of year characterized by the worst planners on the planet. So far, as I've typed this post, there have been 2 people panicking at me because the wedding starts soon and I have to be there early. Where Yo Mama season this year came way too fast for my liking. I know it's March and this is when these things happen, but we just finished Mardi Gras and our extended stay crews still have their scent in the building. I feel like we barely have had time to breathe. The kids, as much as I hate to admit it, have not been too terrible. There is a singular group of boys I've had to yell at multiple times for running in the halls and screaming, but the rest of the kids, not so much. Sidebar. Honestly, most of the time I had noticed when I worked hotel that it really wasn't the kids that were that bad. It was the parents. Like, the parents just think, like, oh, the kids are all together. They can just watch each other. And they'll, like, hang out in the lobby and drink. And it's just like, for fuck's sake, can we not? Can you please watch your goddamn kids? Because before I started working there, I heard that we had, because where my hotel was, is we were in Ankeny. For those that are in Iowa know where Ankeny is. We were on the other side of the bridge. And so I guess all these kids like made their way over the bridge, which goes over the interstate, and there's, you know, an exit right there. They made their way over there and made their way over to the McDonald's that's across the bridge. And then we're throwing rocks at passing cars. Like, what the fuck? Like, watch your goddamn kids, please. Like, I understand, like, it's stressful and having to travel and everything like that, but please, 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 please watch your fucking kids. Anyway, I have had to reprimand a concerning amount of adults, though. This is what I'm saying. The adults are the worst. The kids really aren't usually that bad. It's the adults that are terrible. These are the adults who I assume are associated with the kids. Our lobby is not small, but it's certainly not big enough to set up a camp at our snack table with 12 people and 2 cases of beer. Take your loud gathering elsewhere. As far as this wedding, I don't know who is promising these mofos early check-ins, but they need to be stopped. Check-in is at 4 p.m. Why are you in my face at 11:30 a.m.? And why do you think hyperventilating about how you can't be late is going to magically make this room available any faster? Book your fucking room a day in advance. Oh my gosh, I have never related to a fucking post for work more than I am right now. There was a lady who called earlier to see if she could check in early. I told her very plainly that I didn't have any rooms available just yet for check-in. She short-circuited, "Well, I'm with the wedding party." Her tone was more like, no, you don't understand. Let me speak slower for you. It's not hard to research on the place you're going to. We currently have an 82-year-old woman staying with us for 3 months, and she probably knows more about this hotel and the city that we're in than we do, because she lives on the internet. She's high-key my hero and will be getting her own post soon. Meanwhile, all of these 30 and 40-year-olds come up to me with smartphones in hand asking how far away something is. Do better, please. That's something I don't get. So I worked for a courtyard. We had like a big screen that was interactive. Like you could touch it and like do stuff like that. Like you could look up airplane, like the air, like, you know, like planes that are coming in, departing, all of that shit. And I would still have these people coming up. And like, given it's different for someone to come up and ask me like, hey, what's a good place nearby? Or what do you suggest? Like, that's a local place that's not a chain, compared to someone going up and going, where's the closest McDonald's? Like, motherfucker, you have an iPhone in your hand. Google it. We have internet in this hotel. Google it. And so, like, we would have stuff like that. There is a big difference between the two things. If you don't understand the difference, you're the problem. But anyway. ETA, if your reservation was made by someone else, it would help a whole bunch if you knew the name of the person who did this for you, because that's the name we're going to see first, at least on my system. The amount of clueless guests coming up to the desk for some reason never ceases to amaze me. This one is titled My Hero, March 14th, 2023. Sorry to double post, but this woman is due for her own post, and I wanted to get it out before I forgot again. Did you know you can link a comment? Of course you did. You've been doing it forever. Anyway, this post is related to the lady in this comment. Teal dear, I've always wanted to say that, lol. A woman staying with us for 3 months, and she is the most perfect guest to have ever guessed. In January this year, we had a reservation for a single person staying with us for 3 months. Based on the history of these type of reservations, the front desk assumed this was a person working on some long project in the city, and we were preparing to gain new business from it. As it turned out, it was just a little 82-year-old lady traveling from up north to escape the cold. We affectionately call these people snowbirds. I personally haven't come across a snowbird I didn't like, and this lady is a shining example. Her name, for the purpose of this post, is Mrs. Johnson. Oh, sorry, Ms. Johnson. There are far too much to say about Miss Johnson. I think the best way to go about this is to list exactly why she is the best guest to stay in a hotel ever. 1. Well prepared. As I mentioned in a previous post/linked comment, Miss Johnson lives on the internet. I remember taking a phone call from her months before her arrival, where she asked about different attractions in the area. She planned to have her daughters and nieces visit her while she was here, and she wanted to make sure they had something engaging to do. It wasn't necessarily her asking, what is there to do? It was more of, what are the places like? See, that's what I'm saying. There are different... It's different. It's just fucking different. It was clear she had already done extensive research on the area. It was a lengthy phone call, but I don't remember feeling irritated like I do with any other guest who does this. To be clear, my hotel has no designated concierge. Front desk plays the role, but for the most part, we just hand out magazines that explain exactly what there is to do in the city to save time. When Miss Johnson finally arrived, she had a list of additional questions that were not answered by me or our website. I happily answered them for her. She let us know how she'd like to receive her billing, and we obliged. She may have been the best check-in I've had to date. 2. A self-sufficient charmer. This woman is traveling alone. This woman has been traveling alone for years. She's retired, and I still haven't asked what she used to do, and travels to a new place every winter. Oh my god, that's like the dream, okay? That would be so much fucking fun. She said that she's been to every state about 97 countries. I suppose with that much traveling under your belt, your research game would have to be on point. But yeah, she does everything on her own. She's gone out in the city almost every day since she's been here, more than I can say for my 30-something-year-old self. It's so cute watching her walk with her cane. She really moves. The only thing people have had to help her with since she's arrived is her luggage and her groceries because she's small. I helped her with her luggage when she's arriving. I have literally never helped any other guest with their luggage. She's so freaking nice to everyone. So people basically fall over themselves to help her get her stuff to her room. Both the employees and the Uber driver she gets to take her to and from the grocery store. She's 82 and uses Uber better than most young people. There was one point during her stay that our elevator went out. We put her on the top floor to avoid having people walk on top of her for 3 months. When the elevator went out, we knew we had people staying who were capable of taking the stairs until our technician came the next day. Ms. Johnson was the only one we were worried about. Our GM, hilariously, but also totally seriously, offered to give her piggyback rides if she needed them. There is no one else who would not have gotten this type of service from us, but she's so sweet, how could we not? Do you know what this woman said in response? Oh, I don't mind taking the stairs. And it's true, she actually uses the stairs every day. It's good for the knees, she says. I love her. I love her too. Like, I don't even know this woman, and I love her already. She is so freaking sweet. 3. Assistant storyteller. Ooh. The people who work the front desk look forward to seeing Miss Johnson every day. She always has a story to tell. Usually it's about her day, but she always has interesting days. The thing about her, unlike me with this post, LOL, is the conversations with her have never lasted more than 5 minutes. And even there, I feel like I'm being generous. She doesn't linger. She says what she has to say, we listen with genuine interest, and then she goes on with her retired little day. Not that we'd mind if she hung around a little longer, but it's just super considerate of her. We've had guests who would hold us hostage for over an hour, not even exaggerating a little bit. I timed it. It was a husband and wife, and whenever we would see them, we, including the FOM and the GM, would literally run to the back office to avoid them. Is it shitty? Yes. We were only comforted by the hours we saved by not engaging with them. Miss Johnson, though, she knows we have other shit to do. Hell, she has other shit to do. 4. An honest woman. This woman insists on paying for everything. Some, rightfully so, some things not necessary at all. When she arrived, she said she needed a few things for her room. She needed a handheld shower head, because she is small, and a countertop microwave. Because she is small, the one in her room was way above her head, and she didn't want to risk burning herself taking hot things out of the microwave. She said she would absolutely pay for these things if someone would install them for her. I cannot stress this enough. There is no other guests I can think of who we would do this for. Even as she was asking, I was thinking, we don't do this, but because she's going to be with us forever, I will at least ask. I knew for sure that my GM wouldn't let her pay for these things, but I didn't know he would actually make these accommodations for her. He did. No second thought was given, no money required from her, whatsoever. Today, she updated me on a situation that happened last week. She went out and treated herself to a little alcoholic beverage. She enjoyed it so much that she inadvertently walked out without paying. She felt so bad that when she realized it 10 minutes later, that she called and asked if she could come back later to pay for it, which her server agreed to. As of today, she is officially squared away. Right after she told me that story, she said that she was going to get her debit card so that way she could pay for a Diet Dr. Pepper from our snack area. Coincidentally, a previous guest had left almost a whole case behind. I had stored them in the break room for the staff, but they remained untouched in the 2 days they'd been sitting. I offered them to Miss Johnson. "Oh, well, of course I'll pay for these." "No, ma'am, you will not. These are abandoned drinks. They are all yours for free." Miss Johnson is my hero. To travel alone for years and have everyone absolutely adore you for just being a better than decent human being, that's freaking amazing. She's leaving us next month, and I've had some heartbreaking departures. Miss Johnson has certainly made such an impression on our entire staff that we are all going to absolutely hate to see her go. We're going to remember her forever. My hero, an update, March 15th, 2023. Testing. Hello? Is this thing on? The nerve of Reddit to go out of commission when people are waiting for updates on Miss Johnson. I'm also currently at work and have literally been running around the hotel. I'm hoping I don't forget any details here. Okay, so some of you all were curious about what Miss Johnson did for a living. I found out today. She used to work for the Department of Corrections in her home state. She was also working in the mental health system, and she also was a real estate agent. This all spanned over 30 years of her life. She said working for the government was great for the benefits. Often, the government doesn't get paid as much as other regular jobs. There were times where she wanted to give it all up, but she insisted on sticking it out because she knew her job would take care of her at the end of it all. Now, for the rest of my life, I have my pension and my Social Security, and life's been great. She's just the greatest human. And her absentee ballot came today. I told her I'd personally make sure it went out with tomorrow's mail or deliver it to a mailbox myself. My hero, a Miss Johnson update, April 6th, 2023. Hey there. For those fans of Miss Johnson, I have one last update for you all. Her time with us at the hotel ended yesterday morning, and it was time for her to go back home and be wonderful at her own house. Why do I feel like I'm going to cry? Oh my God, I'm getting emotional about this one. Oh, okay. I didn't get to say goodbye because she left before my shift started. I am told, though, that she was given a little goodie bag of snacks to eat on her plane ride, so that made me feel a little better. She left some stuff behind that she either couldn't take with her or was of no use to her. She had a microwave and handheld shower head that were provided by the hotel. I think we kept the microwave for future hotel use, and the shower head went to my FOM. She was pleased. I don't blame her. It was a really nice shower head. She also left us the books she collected during her stay here. Her time with us often involved her going to a new restaurant. She rarely went to the same place more than twice, and reading books she picked up from our local bookstore. We inherited a large trash bag full of the books that she couldn't take with her. Fun fact, she's really into murder mysteries. I've taken about a third of the books to my house. Speaking of restaurants, she also left behind a hefty stack of menus from the restaurants that she's been to. Every menu has handwritten notes on them with phone numbers and hours of operation. It also looks like she typed out her own list of restaurants in the area, complete with walking distance and time from the hotel. This woman is incredible. I don't think we'll ever have another guest like her. I'm going to miss her so much. And I am tearing up, like, oh my gosh, like, how amazing is this woman? Like, I can't even, like, we've only done 2, and we're gonna move on to Petty Revenge because I can't, like, these all seem really long, and I don't want to do, like, a whole episode of just off my thing. Like, we gotta get some Petty Revenge in here, too. Oh my gosh. I'm just like, I don't even know the woman. I haven't even met her. And like that just like little bit about her was so amazing and adorable. Like, like I wish I would have been able to meet somebody like that when I worked a hotel, because she's so sweet. Give me 1 second. I keep feeling like there's like something in my ear. So I'm trying to like fix it. It's not working. I'll have to take a look-see when I'm done. I got the kid permanently sorry, hold on. I got the kid permanently. You go to the car, or you go the car temporarily. That title made absolutely no fucking sense. Did it make sense to anybody else? Dusty? He says no. Well, he's asleep, but I'm assuming it didn't make any sense to him either. I'll make it short. A girlfriend gets pregnant, do the right thing, and stick by her. We have the kid, she starts going out all the time, and we occasionally get calls at the house by guys looking for her. I knew she was cheating, but didn't really care. I was just there to make sure the kid was well taken care of. Get a new job out of state, hoping that being there away from her bar friends will make us closer. Nope, she finds a new boyfriend quick. Tries to hide it, but she sucks at lying and hiding things. Again, no care for me. By now, my kid and I are very bonded, and even at 18 months, it's obvious he doesn't care much for her either. Yikes. That's sad. Came home from a trip, can't find my kid. Walk into my bedroom, and there her and her boyfriend are having a nice little romp. Now, this was in the days before cell phones, and we lived on the 3rd floor, so there was no escaping the bedroom without coming through the living room. So I just said, when you two are done, I'll be in the living room, and walked out. 3 hours and a lot of whispering later, they emerge. Walk the guy to the parking lot and explain to him I'm not mad at him, but be decent and don't fuck in my house anymore and stay out of my beer. Go back upstairs and tell her to go get my son. Next day, I get a new apartment and move out in 3 hours while she was at a boyfriend's house and took the kid. A day after, I filed for divorce and got full custody, which I won after 2 years of legal wrangling. Granted, child support was jack shit, but it paid for beer for the next 18 years. I supported my kid. I never raised it on her because I'm a decent guy, but told it was fun rubbing it in her face when she got out of line that I spent it all on frivolous stuff for myself and bought him all his clothes, toys, food, etc. out of my own pocket. It always made her fume for a few days. In hindsight, I should have put it into a savings account for him, but we all make mistakes in life. Now, I have purchased her a Toyota Accord before we moved that we shared, but in the divorce, she wanted the car, which I gladly gave her. Then I moved back to my state, in with my parents, and started life over. A few months go by, and I start getting calls at work from the credit company demanding the payment was overdue. I explained numerous times that the vehicle was legally hers now, and I would not be paying. Most of these guys were a-holes, but one day, a very low-key guy called and said, look, we're just trying to work something out because we can't locate her. Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Here's where she's living. The plate number is XXXXXX, and I have it on good authority. She is home right now. She didn't have a job. About 3 hours later, my phone rings, and it's her, and she is pissed, asking me if I told them where the car was because they just repoed and towed it. I said, yep, with a smug grin. Something you need to learn if you don't pay your bills, you don't get to keep your stuff. By the way, my lawyer is paid off. How's yours doing? Click. That was a great day. Edit. Thanks for all of the positive responses. I'm no hero or great dad, just a dude that did what it took to take care of his kid through life and do what it took to give him a good one. Parents that say they sacrifice for their kids disgust me. Sure, there was a lot of shit that I could have bought, done, gone to, etc. if I wasn't supporting him, but taking care of him was a lot more rewarding and fun. The only bad time we had was when I tried to coach him in t-ball. He's always been the laid-back type, and I'm way too competitive. He didn't like baseball, and after that season, we agreed that I needed to stay away from practices, etc. if he got involved in something of interest. Yes, it was a Honda Accord. Come on, people, that was 30 years ago. For you doubters, the story is 100% true. I still have the paperwork and documentation, including the deposition transcript. For you hateful people that just want to be a Reddit dick, it must be sad to be such a pathetic person. You have my pity. Like, damn. So we went through a buy here, pay here of a used car dealership that, like, given the dealership itself probably doesn't have, like, the greatest, what word do I want to use? The greatest, I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of. Whatever. It doesn't have, like, it doesn't have, like, a great reputation. That's the word. It doesn't have the greatest reputation. But we, it did have a thing where it's like, if you get somebody to, like, buy a car from them, you get, like, $200 off of your payment or whatever, or your loan or whatever. And so we had gotten a phone call that, you know, like, hey, we've been having a hard time getting a hold of them. They hadn't made their payments. And so we were like, oh, well, that sucks. Well, they still live at this address, so keep looking. But we never heard about it again. So, but we had also had a falling out with them. So I had absolutely no problem turning them in. I'm just saying, if you don't want to be shit on, don't be an asshole. Or if you don't want to deal with shit, don't be an asshole. Crazy. And then we are going to go ahead and move on to another one. I didn't mark the last one, but I went back and did that. Charge me to close out the account, question mark. I had an investment account at my bank that I set up in order to save for my kids' college, and used it to pay tuition. About 2 years after the last one graduated, I realized that I had been getting a monthly statement for the account, even though it had only $280 in it. So I went to the bank to close it out and have the $280 transferred to my checking account. They sent me to an investment specialist in a small office off to the side, since customer service people can't do anything with an investment account. That sounds weird, but okay. I want to state that the person I sat down with was doing his job, and he had rules and procedures to follow. He started out nice and friendly. When he asked why I wanted to close the account, I explained to him that I was getting monthly statements, it was costing the bank money, etc. However, he told me that there would be a $135 fee to close out the account. I asked if it could be waived since it was half the value of the account. It was costing the bank to send the statements, and he got irritated with me for even suggesting such a thing. Then he spent the next 15 minutes trying to sell me life insurance, asking how much I had in my other accounts, and that he could probably do better performance-wise if I transferred it all to an investment branch. What? None of that made sense. I'm sorry. I don't understand bank stuff. Cue petty revenge. I decided not to close out the account, but take out $279 instead, leaving $1 in it. In a now condescending tone, he lectured me that it wouldn't stop the monthly statements. The reason I wanted to close the account, I explained to him, was that it wasn't worth $135 to me to stop the mail. 2 years later, I'm still getting monthly statements for an account that now has only $1.03 in it. Well, like, that's so dumb. Like, why would it cost them to close an account like that? Like, if you work in banking, please enlighten me, because I don't understand how that works. I don't understand why it costs money to close out an account like that, especially if you still have an account with the bank. Like, I don't understand. I will never understand why banks do shit like that. If you work in banking and you understand, please enlighten me. I would love to have, like, an explanation. Cheat on me? Good luck using your account. Apparently this is an account episode. Here's some background. I was with my ex for almost 4 years. He was a good guy up until a year before we broke up, when he started cheating on me. When we finally broke up, I was able to get some revenge. 1 year for Christmas, I got him a used PS4. We set up our accounts in such a way that mine was the parent account and his was the child. I think it's more, a better way to explain it is that it was your home PS4, and then his was just a subsidiary account on it. Because, like, my husband, like, we have a PS4 and a PS5. So my husband's is the main owner of the PS5, and I'm just on the account. Or my account is just on the PS5 as well, but it's his home PS5. And then our PS4, it's my PS4, and it's my home PS4 with his account just on the side as well. So I don't think it's really, like, a child or a parent account. Yeah, because as long as you have it set for your home PlayStation, other accounts on it can play it. So, like, that's why we do it that way. So, or actually, we have it now set up so that way that one is his, because he has a better, he has, like, the premium PlayStation Plus, and I just have the regular one so I can still play online. And and then we have the PS4 set to his home one as well, so that way I can still, like, go in and download games off of his account and then play them on mine, because otherwise you can't do that. Okay, so mine was the parent account and his was the child, so he could play my games. Another feature of this setup was that the parent account can lock out the child account of playing. He knew this when we were setting it up and said it didn't bother him. When we broke up, he refused to stop playing the games I bought for me on my account, claiming he couldn't stop. You could. Soon after that, I locked everything on his account. His account will automatically log out if he tries, and he can't do anything to stop it. Before anyone says anything, I paid for everything when it came to that console. All of his games, his membership, everything. He was unemployed for most of our relationship and never paid for his own things. And Jay, if you ever read this, F you. I love it when they have that little bit at the end. That's my favorite part of Petty Revenge Stories. I don't know why. It just gives me, like, a nice warm and fuzzy feeling inside to see that they say stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It just cracks me up a little bit. Neighbor and his friend kept stealing my packages, so I got them arrested and evicted. Fuck around and find out. I had a problem neighbor for so many years. He terrorized the area. He was a drug addict and dealer, which is his business, but don't make it my issue. Thus, we always had an unsavory people popping up, breaking into houses, cars, stealing packages, etc. I know it's to do with him because he had previously admitted that it was his friends doing it, and I've seen CCTV from other neighbors showing his friends damaging cars, etc. He'd stolen bank cards that came in the mail, makes the most obnoxious noise that wakes me up, and his friends/fiends almost always ring my bell in the dead of night around 2 to 3 a.m. I've shouted at them so many times and have argued with him too. My neighbor has also been in prison multiple times for various things, including very serious crimes. So he would do well to keep his head low as a free man, you'd think. But you'd be surprised how many of these people just don't give a flying fuck anymore. My neighbor has... We live in a house converted into apartments, where there are 4 apartments and a main area downstairs to walk through / where the mail goes. He always leaves the main door open, which I'd asked him not to so his friends can come and go. Sometimes they'd kick the door down and trash the area. Fucking hate people like this. Whenever I'd get a package and I wasn't home, the shitty couriers would leave the package unattended in the front garden or the main area outside my door, despite me instructing them not to. My package would be stolen by my neighbor / his friends in seconds. This went on for years, and when confronted, he'd deny it, but I knew it was him. The other 2 apartments are old people who I'm friendly with who also dislike him. My issue is I never had any proof. I once called the police after he wrote a note to me apologizing for his friend stealing my package, but that went nowhere. This time, I wasn't going to let my over 250 pound worth of stolen packages go amiss. I put up a camera in the main area, I saved the boxes from some other packages, and placed an apple and some plastic bags in there for weight. I set them outside, and within 5 minutes, they were stolen by his friend who hadn't seen the camera. Gotcha. I called the police, who commended me on my setup skills, and they came over, but by the time they did, the guy had left the building, with packed bags that were definitely filled with drugs to sell. They told me they'd look out for him. A few weeks later, I get a call from the police about it. I also tell them I'm absolutely certain he sells Class A drugs and has been terrorizing the area. They tell me they'd pay me a visit. 5 days go by, and at 7 a.m., I get a call from the same officer asking me to open the door quickly and quietly. I do, and she tells me to go inside, but not before I see about 15 plainclothes officers hiding behind a wall. I look through the people, and they all storm inside, boot down his door, and arrest everyone inside. It was basically a crack house, as well as seize boxes of drugs. This was all caught on the camera I bought, and I sent the footage to the landlord. The police also get in touch with the landlord, and thus my neighbor is evicted on top of it. This was a month ago. None of his mail has been picked up, and I'm getting a lot of joy out of this. Moral of the story, keep your hands to yourself. I love it. I've complained about some shitty ass neighbors that I've had before. So I can, how do I want to put this? I can sympathize with OP on this, because honestly, having shitty neighbors sucks so fucking much. He's just being a cutie. Sorry. And that was originally why we got our camera that we have outside our door. Because one, we got permission from the landlord to do it. And when we got the camera, we had the other neighbors that lived down here being like, hey, like, our packages are going missing too. Can you please, like, point it, like, at all our doors so that way we can see? And ever since when we got the camera, we had it set up. And we knew who it was. We just never had any proof that it was happening. So, but once we did it, we never had any packages go missing ever again. I could tell you that fucking much. Because he saw the camera, and then he had a whole fit. Like, he came, like, at one point, he came and knocked on our door, and is like, you can't have that. That's illegal. And it's like, yeah, well, you know what else is illegal? Fucking stealing and doing drugs. So, how about you just shut the fuck up? And it was this whole thing with them, and we were so glad. Like, we wish our landlord had evicted them, because there was always pot smell in the building, cigarette smell. It sucked so fucking much. But they were so close to the end of their lease that it would cost him more money to go through the eviction process and kick them out than it would have been to, you know, just let them write out their lease. But he told them, you're not allowed to renew your lease. And then the same thing with our other neighbors that were down here that we no longer have, which I'm so thankful for. Right now, everybody in the building is fairly nice and quiet, and it's just so nice living in a nice, quiet apartment again. Don't want me on guest list. Guess you're not allowed backstage. A few months ago, I met one of the biggest tour managers for some of the biggest music artists, Bill. We met through Chad, an event promoter who had screwed up on hospitality with a VIP artist and had asked me to handle and make up for it. Seeing as I work in luxury hospitality, I agreed to help and asked for nothing in return. This isn't the first time I vouched for them when an artist is upset with their screw-ups. I've always had a crush on Chad, but he pays me no attention. I've never asked to be on the guest list as I want to support Chad's business and promotions company. I have been a loyal supporter for years. Bill and I end up getting along fabulously and have become pretty good friends. Bill says I've got guest list for life. I see a show coming up by Chad's company. Bill tells me he knows the artist manager and will have my friend and I on the list. It worked out well since I had waited to get cheaper tier tickets and couldn't stay all night, as I've been assured I'm on the list. I've seen screenshots that I'm on it. I get to the venue and nope, not on the list. I asked them to reach out to Chad because Bill is in another time zone in another country and I can't call him. I call Chad and his number 2, who is my typical point of contact. No answers from anyone. I end up paying for tickets for me and my friend on top of paying $40 for parking, $100 total. Yuck. $40 for parking? That sucks ass. I tell Bill the next day and he is pissed. I never hear anything back from Chad. Chad's number 2 tells me the next day I was on the list, but they didn't get the list until after I arrived. I tell him how much I had to shell out for a night that was supposed to be only parking, and he says, we lost money on that show and you expect your money back? I tell Bill about this and he is even more livid. He tells me he will handle Dumb and Dumber. The next show by Chad is by far the biggest artist in the music genre. Bill's client as well. Bill decides to come and visit me for a few days before the show. He lets Chad know 3 of my friends and I are all to be VIP guests. Chad tells Bill he's not comfortable with that many people backstage. Bill expresses very politely that he doesn't give a shit and he is the man in charge of the guest list for the artist. Obviously, there isn't any problems getting in this time. I literally roll in with the artist teams. Fabulous night. Bill gives Chad a stern talking to about his treatment of me and says that I'm to be treated as one of his artists going forward. This show was in November. The artist was getting ready to have one of his biggest shows ever this month in another country. I convinced Chad to get his passport and come to the country for the show. Bill put him on the most basic guest list with meh tickets and tells me Chad needs a wake-up call and will get him backstage after he comes to say hello. Neither Bill or I had heard from Chad since November, and suddenly he's posting on social media he's been invited to this show and making it seem like he got the invite because of his awesomeness and not because I asked for him to be given the invite. Chad sends me a sad face about the lack of VIP access once at the show. I send him a sad face back. I tell him come find me and say hello. I have backstage passes for him and his friends, but I don't tell him. He never comes to say hi to me or Bill. No thank you for getting me in free at least, and then leaves early. I should offer him some water. I think he's a little salty. That was kind of a cute one. Like, it's just, I don't know. I enjoy, like, these little ones that are just kind of like, hey, like, you know, literally the only thing that stopped him from having, like, the package he wanted was coming and saying hello or thank you. Like, he kind of fucked himself over on that one. And I think this might be our last one of the day. I didn't even mean for this to happen. When my new neighbor and I met for the first time when she moved in, I was holding my 8-month-old girl. New neighbor: I sure hope that baby doesn't make a lot of noise. I'm so not up for that. Bit surprising when she did almost all of her home improvement it says 20 hours, so it says like 20.00. So my brain is stupid and trying to think, because midnight is 24, so 11, 10, 9, so from 8 o'clock at night till midnight. I don't know why that took me so long. And the tone was set. She complained about baby noises and just about everything we did in the house and or garden to the housing corporation, and she didn't want to sit down for a talk. So, I simply ignored her for ages. She ignored me too. Apart from some nasty comments to friends or her boyfriends about me, no idea why I deserved that. Some random Friday in the summer, a doorbell rang. A nice lady told me that my neighbors had their keys hanging in their lock and nobody was home as she tried the door. Maybe I wanted to take the keys? Of course I did, but I did feel bad because I saw them before when they left the house with swimming stuff. So I guess they would be away for the day. Walked over, I locked their door, tossed the key into the letterbox, and as soon as it fell on the floor, I realized what I had done. I still hoped that they had a spare key, but it turned out they didn't, so they had to call a locksmith on Friday evening, which means the weekend payment was in order. Over 300 euros. Loved it eventually. So, for those that might be confused, a lady had their neighbor's keys. And, the neighbors had left their keys hanging in the lock. So, she locked the door and put them in the mailbox. But the thing is that the mailbox, I'm assuming, goes inside to the house. It's like one of those ones. It's not like a U.S. mailbox where you go out, open it, and it's like separate from the house. It's probably like one of the ones where there's like a slit in the door and it goes in. Oh, somebody's got the hiccups. So, yeah, so they basically locked their neighbors out of their own house on accident, but it still ended up being a revenge because probably if they'd been nicer, they probably would have like held on to the keys and waited for their neighbors to come home and be like, hey, you guys left your keys in the door this morning, so I have them. But I mean, I would probably like honestly do the same thing, and it was honestly a mistake. I definitely feel like it was a mistake. Like, they did not do that on purpose. But it's kind of one of those things where you just do it and automatically you think about it and then you go, fuck. So, whoopsies! That's just great. But that's going to be our last one, and we're just going to go ahead and do our outro. Thanks everyone for listening today. I hope you all enjoyed the podcast. If you know someone who likes my content, feel free to send me their way and a share. If you would like to send me a message with your own story, rant, question, unpopular opinion, or if you want me to tell others how you fucked up today, or any day, send me a cute message or send me a message via any of my social media found in the description below. Just look for my cute little avatar you see on whatever app you're listening on. Please, give a rating if you enjoyed what you heard today. I hear that they help out tremendously. And as always, I will catch y'all next time. Bye! And as always, I hope you guys enjoyed what you saw today. Please feel free to leave a message or a comment down below. Feel free to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, any of those things that might tickle your fancy. My upload schedule is Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, all at noon Central Time. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!